Welcome back to Podiatry Marketing. I'm your host, Jim McDannald, joined as always by my trusty co-host, Tyson Franklin. Tyson, how's it going today?
I'm fantastic today, Big Jim, aka the host.
I don't know the host. I mean, we're co-hosts. We're
Co-host, yes.
We're equals.
We are. So we keep telling ourselves we are equals. It's
Some of us are more equal than others.
No, everything's good. We're still in winter in Australia, so it's perfect time of year to be out in the tropics. This is when everybody flocks up here because summertime it will kill them. Probably very similar to Florida. In summer, most of America in summer, the rest of America stays away from Florida.
Yeah.
And then during the winter, everyone goes there. Same here. Which is a good segue into today's topic, which is, in case you're wondering, effective networking and word of mouth strategies. And this topic came about because somebody asked me to do a presentation on this not so long ago. And what I love about it, what I like about this topic more than anything else is my podiatry clinic was built around networking. And when I first came to Cairns and set up my clinic, I had gone to a networking event and I just happened to bump into this guy who owned a car dealership. It was a family car dealership. They'd been part of Cairns community for decades or generations. We got on really well, and pretty much a week after that event, he came as a patient. His wife came in, his parents came in, his kids came in, friends that he worked with came in. And I thought, wow, that was all from just one networking list. So I went back to it the following month, thanked him for all the referrals and for coming in himself. And he said, he started introducing me to people. And then as he introduced me to the next person, they said, they're coming in. And so I picked up really early the power of networking, just meeting the right people, making good connections. When I sold my business 25 years later, he was one of the patients that came in because he knew I was selling. He came in on my last week and we were laughing about how long he had been a patient for, how many pairs of orthotics he'd gotten, how many people he had referred. And so, I've always been a fan of networking because of that. The friends I've made, the people I'm the closest within Cairns have usually been people I've connected with over the years.
That's cool. I think that, it's amazing how one connection can kind of like change your life or, send you off in the right trajectory. So you never know that next person you have a conversation with or get to know at either a networking event or some community event could be someone to make a big difference with your future.
Well, that's why on the back of my wall, the next connection will be the one that changes your life. That's why I say that. And I say even like effective networking and word of mouth. The reason it really matters, especially in the digital world, because so many younger people are just used to, I'll just connect with them online. That's fine. But nothing beats that face-to-face connection, which is why people go to conferences. They go there. You can do a lot of learning online, but you go to a conference, especially the smaller group ones where you actually get to spend some time with people and not meet as many people, and you usually take more away from it. So they reckon that in a survey, 92% of consumers trust referrals from people they know. And especially in the allied health industry, your reputation is your currency. So the more you can meet people and the more referrals you can get from other people that are quite positive, the better it's actually going to be for your business. And the other benefit of when you get referrals through networking is usually those referrals, the quality is up here. It's so much better than just some rando that just comes in off the street who may have seen some of your advertising and go on your website. But I have a quote that I posted recently on Facebook, and it said, Google gives you choices, websites educate, but personal connections are the things that will close the deal. And so somebody will go, they might be on Google searching, I've got a sore heel. So they're looking around. And from that, they figure out, I have plantaris fasciitis, and they can never say it. I was only just watching a movie recently and they were trying to say it. They figure out they've got plantar fasciitis, heel pain. So then they realize, I need to see a podiatrist. So they look at all these different websites. It might be 3 or 4 podiatrists in an area. They check out the websites to get more education, go, yep, this is definitely where I need to go. I need to see a podiatrist. Now, while they're choosing, even if they said to a friend, I've got to see a podiatrist, And they go, well, my podiatrist, Big Jim Mac, awesome bloke, helped me out, same problem. Straight away, it wouldn't matter what else is said on those websites. That referral from that friend is going to be more powerful than anything else.
I think in medicine, especially, trust is everything. And you want to make sure that, you don't have, there's not a lot of redos when it comes to surgery or, you want to get back to being as healthy as you can, as quickly as you can. So when you can get a referral from a trusted individual, whether it's a friend, a coworker, a family member, it means a lot more. And like you said, this kind of word of mouth, the trust, you can get those quality patients through those channels, definitely.
And just think about when you've had a recommendation to even go to a restaurant, you're tossing up between, oh, where do we go for dinner? In February, we went down to Mission Beach. Before we went down there, a friend said to me, if you ever go to Mission Beach, you need to go to Charlie's Beach House, the best smoked brisket you'll get anywhere. Okay, we're going down there, and Chris and I were thinking we're going to go for dinner tonight, Charlie's Beach House. We went there, and it lived up to the reputation. We all do it. We do it every day. So that's why you need to be aware why you need to be networking and meeting people. So if you're an awesome dude or dudette, if you're a female, then, but if people need to know you, they need to get to see you in the flesh so that they can talk about you later on. So always say when you're at a networking event, there's some reason why networking will fail for some people. Other than they might go, oh, I'm really shy. I don't like to do it. Get over it. It's not that hard. Just talk to people. You're just talking to people. But there's two types of networking. One is what I call passive networking. That's where you'll go to an event, you'll collect all these business cards from people, and you'll do nothing with them. And you end up with and I've done this in the past, you'll end up with a pile of business cards that just keeps stacking up, and you're meant to do something, but you never actually do it. Active networking is where you're purpose driven. So you're making connections because you want there to be mutual value between you and them. So when you're actually talking to someone, they may not need a podiatrist right now, but get to know who they are. They will, and if they're curious about who you are, once you meet them multiple times, you'll find that they will refer people to you, and they will come to you themselves. They won't go somewhere else. So I always say quality is better than quantity. So when you go to a networking event, don't try and meet everybody. Just try and be remembered by 2 or 3 people. If you can walk away knowing 2 or 3 people, your job is done.
That's a great point. I think, like I said, sometimes you'll see networking as a way to like almost speed dating in a way. Like I'm gonna go
Yeah.
spend like 2 minutes with that person. I'm gonna go give this person my card. It's like bouncing around the room is not the way to go. If you can get into a conversation with someone for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, have an interesting, ask them about themselves, let them talk. It really builds trust and a rapport with someone that, maybe the next time you see them, or maybe at the end of the conversation, they'll ask about what you're up to and who you are. So it's one of those things. The more you give, the more you get. And when I say giving your attention to someone, actually listening, asking them questions about themselves, and not trying to I think sometimes networking gets a bad reputation because people feel
Mm.
like it's a way to weasel in or sell people on what you do. But when it comes to it, you're a member of a community. You want to hear about, what people are up to. And I think by showing that attention and having that curiosity about them, they can help. But actually, most people that are, in the know or reasonable will kind of shower some of that attention back onto you in the future.
Yeah, and networking isn't just going to a networking event. Some people might be thinking, oh, does that mean I have to go to, like a BNI? I think it's a Business Networking International. What's what BNI stands for?
Maybe.
Something like that. It's a big, I know here in Cairns, we've got BNI chapters all over the place. And some people look at them and they go, oh, I can't stand that sort of stuff. That's fine. I'm not a fan of that either. It's just, I never have been. But I do enjoy going to local business lunches, because you then know this. When you look at your patient, the patient you see, your ideal patient, and when you've got them in your clinic, you talk to them. What do they do? Do they go to certain lunches? Because if that's one of your ideal patients, and there's a big chance that they hang around other people that are very similar to themselves. Even when I was at that business event where I was doing this talk, how we did it, we did round tables. So I wasn't up on stage talking. We'd sit at a table. There were 7 different topics, and the people at the event could rotate around to each of those tables, but they could only pick 3. So when I got to this topic about don't try and meet everyone, just be remembered by a few, at the table, there were 8 people at my table, or 9 people, because there's 10 people at the table. There were 9 people that joined my table 3 times. And I said to them, this is the 4th time I've been here and talked on different things. And I said, I know you, when I pointed to someone, and I know you. I met you the first time I was here. And there was somebody else that told, I said, I met you the 3rd time I was here. And I said, you. And I said, you, I've never met you before. But by the end of today, we're going to know each other a lot better. And 2 of them I've got organized to come on my other podcast on Podiatry Legends.
Nice.
And I just do this each time I go there. I see a lot of people. I say hello to a lot of people, but I only focus in on usually about 2 to try and get to know them a little bit better and find out more about what they do as well.
Oh, that's a great point. Like you said, it's the quality of the connections you make, not the quantity.
So they reckon there's 4 levels of business networking. The first one is visibility. So you'll go to an event, you'll talk to a few people, and people will know you exist. So I'll use my old podiatry, ProArch Podiatry. And I'll go, oh yeah, ProArch Podiatry. Sort of heard of that. Then there's what they call credibility. This is where they've heard about you for a little while. They've seen you around. They trust you, and once they get to meet you, they go, okay, you're quite a professional person, which is great. The 3rd level is what they call profitability. And this is where the people at the networking event are starting to refer people to you, and you may be referring people back to them depending on their industry. But what you want to get to is what they call the 4th level. And this is where this is legacy. This is where you are top of mind and where you become the go-to podiatry business in town. When I had ProArch Podiatry, we could go to any event, and even if people were seeing another podiatrist for whatever reason, bad choices, I suppose. But if I was seeing another podiatrist, even if I said, hey, how you doing? And I said, oh, I am ProArch Podiatry. They went, oh, I know exactly where that is. And then I would actually ask them, out of curiosity, why did you go to another podiatry clinic? And usually it was always because, they were just around the corner from where I worked, or they were near where I lived, or my mum was going to this one. It was like word of mouth. They were referred to those other clinics.
Absolutely. I think it's really, really important to kind of go through those steps, and you can't rush them, right? If you're trying to, I think that's what I see when people sometimes network. They're trying to get to level 2, 3, or 4 on the first visit or the first time they meet somebody. And maybe you can, but you shouldn't be pushy. I think sometimes people, they get too excited, and you just got to take your time and, just kind of work your way to build that trust.
Yeah, it's like you don't ask your wife to marry them on the first date. And that's what some people do at networking events. They're pretty much walking up here going, will you marry me? And they're like, whoa. So can you imagine when you met your wife, if the first night she said, I want you to marry me, you'd be going, whoa, fruitcake. You'd back away. Depending how good they look, I suppose. You'd back away. But I could just picture that. If I'd walked up to my wife the first time we'd met and said, will you marry me? She would have just run for the hills. And that's what happens at networking events. If you come on too strong, it actually repels people. So I reckon if you want to build strong networking habits, the first thing you need to do is become a connector. Introduce others without anything for yourself. So you might be talking to someone at a networking event, and that might be a builder. And you might be talking to somebody else who is in real estate. Or the other person might be a plumber. And when you're talking to that real estate person, they might go, oh, yeah, we've had a lot of plumbing problems. And you've gone, oh, have you met John over here? He's a plumber. He seems like a really nice guy. I was talking to somebody else, they've used him, reckons he's really reliable. Hang on, I'll introduce you. And then introduce the people. And I found at a lot of events I went to in Cairns, I would connect a lot of people. I do that now on the Podiatry Legends podcast. I'll have somebody on who's a guest. And while we're talking, I'll go, actually, I know somebody else who has an interest in that. Do you want me to introduce you to them? They go, that'd be fantastic. I connect so many people through the podiatry profession with each other. And then they run off and, have a magical life together, doing different things. But it makes me feel good. Yeah, but I feel so good when I can connect 2 different podiatrists with a similar interest where I know they're going to benefit by knowing each other.
Yeah, that's great.
And I've had people go overseas and go, where are you going? And they'll tell me, go, oh, I know someone who lives in that town who's been on the podcast. So I'll send them an email. and I connect them that way. And next thing, they've caught up, had dinner together. So another thing to do is, like I said, if you are meeting people, just make sure if you do collect their card for it, just follow them up in the next 24 hours. Even if you just say, hey, it was really nice to meet you at the event. I hope to see you at the next one. That never goes astray. Bring value to every conversation. So if you are talking to someone and they do mention something about a particular problem that you've got advice on, give them some tips or give them some insights that might help them, but don't necessarily just say, oh, you should come and see me. Okay. Yeah, have you tried this? Have you tried that? They go, no, I haven't. Yeah, give that a shot. See how it goes. If that helps, do this. If that doesn't help, do this. And then you walk away and go, that was good advice. Thank you for that. And then they will talk to you next time.
No, I think that's a great point, because I think a lot of people, if you show that generosity and you're not like just trying to charge, like charge for the consult, or like, hey, I can help you out if you come into my clinic. It's like, who is this guy, right? So I think it's a great point, is that if you're kind of generous with information. I think that's what we do on this podcast as well. We give away everything for free in a way. So it just builds good rapport with people. You're helping people live their best lives, and if it makes sense for them to come in and see you, they know they can do that without you having to specifically say it. So,
it's just 180 something that we're up to.
188, I think.
188. So we give a lot of information for free. We don't ask for anything in return. However, if you'd like to leave an awesome review for us on your podcast platform, we will not say no. But we know by giving this information out, one day someone's going to go, you know what? I need this done. I'm going to contact Jim. Or they might go, oh, I need to get some coaching or mentoring in this particular area of my business. I might call Tyson. But they might be looking at another, like a coaching group or something, go, oh, or should I do that? But at least I think by giving out information, it gives people, they get to know you a little bit better as well.
Absolutely.
One thing I have done at different times, I used to, you'd have a business card or something like that. And I have two different business cards. So one business card I have, which is just my Tyson Franklin card, for example, that I use now. If I'm at a podiatry event and I hand it out, I'll give it to people when we're talking. But I have another one that is just to do with the Podiatry Legends podcast. But if I was talking to someone who is a potential sponsor, I'll be given that card and I say nothing else. But then on the back, there's a QR code that says sponsorship opportunities that they could go to. And I have a specific page that's designed for that event that I happen to be going to. And you can do the same thing. If there's a certain area of your business that you're going to a specific networking event and you might know there might be a lot of runners there, then maybe you've got a page set up that you want them to go to that page. Then create a card that doesn't cost that much with a specific QR code and make sure that's the card you're handing out to people when you're talking to them.
That makes a lot of sense. I think when it's more relevant to them, they're going to feel more connected to you and more likely to engage when you're kind of going that extra mile to make yourself kind of available to them.
And the other thing, I think, if you want to generate more word of mouth and you want to be like a bit more purposeful with that, is we've said it in the past, delivering wow moments to your patients whenever you can is really important. But when you meet somebody, sending them a handwritten thank you note. Hey, it was really nice to meet you. A thank you card. It was fantastic meeting you at that event. Write it by hand. You can get a pen and you can write it onto something, a card, and post it off to them. I'll tell you right now, when they get that, they will not throw it away. I've got a drawer here where I put cards that people have sent to me where they've got, I was going to leave podiatry and I listened to you on the podcast or I saw you at an event. I just wanted to let you know. I keep them all. And whenever you have days where you're not feeling like you're mean, that you matter. I go and look through them and I go, God damn, this is why I do what I do. There's been times, I'll admit, this podcast, Podiatry Legends podcast, where I'm like, why do we keep doing this? You must have that moment sometimes, every now and then.
No, I look forward to every Tuesday when we record, Tyson. It brightens my week up.
I do. I enjoy doing this part. I do enjoy recording. But sometimes why are we doing this? But then I'll be at the foot and ankle show and someone will walk up and say, absolutely love the podcast with you and Jim. We get so much out of it. You sort of go, and that is why we do it. It's for that.
Absolutely.
It's for that reason. It's not for the money. But I think if you want to turn like the people that you meet, whether it's your patients or people you meet at networking events, you want to turn them into raving fans, you've got to stay top of mind. So that's why you've got to be connected with these people and make sure that they're getting social media updates or even email tips. So if you want more people talking about you, not just networking, but your current patients already see you want them talking about your word of mouth, is you've got to stay in touch with them. Local sponsorship is a great way of people who have already used you to see that, and then that gets them talking to other people.
I think it's a huge opportunity, right? Like you want to show, how do you build that trust at scale, right? Like you can build trust one-on-one and network and such, but there's other ways to get out there, be present in the community, and really kind of show that you do care about those local patients and stay top of mind with them, so they're looking for that foot and ankle specialist that you're the one they think of.
And I'm going to give an example of this. There were 2 businesses in Cairns that I've used a lot, where I've referred a lot of podiatrists to do business with. One is a graphic artist, Letitia, that anyone listening to this may have used her. Whenever I refer people to Letitia, she always thanks me. She sends me an email, she'll phone me up, and then she gives me progress reports on where they're at. And then when their logo is all completed, it might be where they're using it in some particular spot on their website or something, she'll let me know that it's up there and I'll go and have a look at it. Always thanks me. Whenever I see her, gives me a hug. She's a great person. And this is all about the gratitude. When you do something for somebody, they expect at least a thank you. And you should be always making sure that you're doing that. And when you're referring people, you probably expect to get it back as well. There's another person in Cairns that I've used in the past for doing, I'm not even going to mention what it's for because then it'll say who it is. I don't want to bag her. But not once, I've probably sent 15 podiatrists there, not once I've even got a thank you. Nothing. Nada. Zero. I saw her at an event not too long ago and I went up and said, hey, I was talking to Thingo 2 days ago. They said they came and saw you and you're doing all this stuff for them. And she went, and she pretty much turned around, oh yeah, thanks for that. And went back to the conversation. She was the group. And I went, I will never, under any circumstances, ever refer anyone to you again. I refuse to do it. So be aware of that. Show gratitude. If someone is referring someone to you, whether it's an existing patient, someone you met at a networking event, bloody go out of your way to make sure that they know that you receive the referral and you appreciate the referral and thank them. And that's where a simple little card can be helpful. So have some sort of reward program or appreciation program.
That's the little things that matter. And when people go out of their way to thank you, it definitely means a lot.
Oh, I think of these 2 people and I just shake my head. I really do. So I think when it comes back to the networking side of things, it's just be looking for opportunities in your town, block out 2 hours in your day once a month and go to a networking event. There's so many networking opportunities in most towns, whether it's a chamber of commerce. I even told you when I went to Powell River for a holiday and I contacted their chamber of commerce. You said, hey, can I come along and can I do a talk? And they said, yes. And had 50 people there that the mayor came to meet me because I was an international speaker. It was quite funny. But even networking through like different Facebook groups, getting on the people's radar in those Facebook groups. It might be a running group. You get in there, people are commenting on stuff. Just make intelligent comments. You don't need to rave and start screaming, look at me, I'm a podiatrist, come and see me. It's somebody has a problem, you give some advice. They will chase you up to find out who you are, especially if the advice is always good. And then they'll figure out that you're a podiatrist. But I think the thing I want to finish on most is just people don't always refer to the best business, but they refer to the one they remember and trust. That's a quote that I wanted to finish on. And that's all I need to say on this particular topic. Jim?
And I think you brought up a lot of great ideas and the fact around kind of how networking can be powerful, but it is about building relationships, and you got to let them grow over time. It's not something that's gonna just happen all of a sudden. So great advice for our listeners, and something that I think can really help them, especially I would say younger folks just getting into practice. Obviously, you can do it
Mm,
anytime, but when you have more time than money, getting out to these events and showing face and kind of showing appreciation for those refers can make a huge difference in what a successful practice can be. So I definitely this is a very timely and kind of an evergreen topic that I love when we get into these conversations. So
yeah, well, just one last thing I'll say, because it's popped in my head now, is when you do go to a networking event, believe me, if you haven't done it before, you're going to be nervous. Just accept it. It's just part of anything. It gets easier the more you do it. But just expect when you go to a networking event, someone is going to come up to you and they're going to say, "Hi, I'm John." You'll say your name and they're going to say, "What do you do?" Be prepared that people will ask you what you do. And don't say, "I do podiatry." Tell them what it is that you actually do.
sure.
Yeah. "Oh, my name's Tyson. I help people with foot problems get out of pain." Or I help. Just talk about what you do. And yeah, and then you say, "I own a podiatry clinic and I help people do this." So that's more, that was the last thing. It just popped in my head then. So I'm going to finish on
That's
that.
It's a great way to frame it, because what are you doing for other people, and not kind of what you are, or it's kind of when you frame it in how you help others. I think that's where people will connect with you better.
Well, the best one I heard was somewhere, how we came across this. Met someone one day, said, "Hi, I'm Tyson." He goes, "Hi, I'm David." I said, "What do you do, David?" David says, "I help people pay less tax."
Yeah, a
You've
lot
won
of
me
friends
over.
at that one.
I said, "You've won me over, David. How do you do that?" And he says, "Well, I've got the system set up in my accounting firm." Okay, so I pretty much figured he was an accountant. Didn't mention the name of his accounting business. Sucked me in right from the word go. And yeah, and then later, "Oh, what's your accounting business?" "Oh, I'll give you a card." So it was that simple. So if you connect with people that way and get them interested, if you're talking to someone, they're looking over your shoulder constantly, going, "Oh yeah," they're making eye contact with you. Yeah, you've lost them.
Absolutely.
More on that later. Okay, Jim, we better go. We don't want to hold people up all day.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you on the next one, Tyson.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you next week. See you later. Bye.
Right. Bye now.